Hey everybody, let's do a quick review of the 7 Artisans 25mm 1.8 f-stop little tiny $69 lens. Coming up next. JDV here for Evil Genius Entertainment. We're going to do a quick review of this lens, which still retails for, as far as I know, $69 on Amazon. I'm pretty sure you can still get it on eBay and other places like that. It's a nifty little prime lens meant for the Micro Four Thirds system. I think it does come in Sony mount, but I might be wrong about that. Anyway, I had just ordered the GH5 about 3 to 4 months now ago, and as much as possible I like to use native glass when I'm shooting. I do have adapters for older Canon FD lenses and things like that, but that always adds a little bit of weight, a little bit of space. And generally speaking, if I can get it native glass, I will. Now, one of the cool things about this lens is it lets you experiment with manual glass without having to spend a lot of money. I'm going to include some video I shot in slow-mo of one of my kids, some photographs of what you get. And what do you get for 69 bucks? Well, what you get is a really solid little lens. I mean, when you pick it up, it's a beefy little beast. It's got nice weight to it, all metal construction pretty much, some plastic in it obviously. Nice little lens cap, nice little rear cap, comes with a little case, comes with a nice little foam cardboard box that I just used to actually put it in my camera bag and just use that to protect it. I think it comes with a cleaning cloth even. I mean, it's an amazing deal really. If the lens works, and it turns out the lens works very, very well. The closest thing I could compare it to is the Russian Helios 44, the 58mm lens that people kind of love or hate based on the weird bokeh. You get a very similar bokeh with this lens. You'll see it, it'll be nice and sharp, the figure in the background will be, you know, all kind of curvy and weird. And if that's an effect that you'd like to have in new glass, then this is definitely a lens you ought to look at. It's been noticed before that it's fairly easy to turn this. It's pretty easy to change the f-stops and the focus, so that might be a thing where you need to put some gaffer tape on there if you want to lock it down to 1.8 or whatever f-stop. But the reality is it's amazingly smooth little action there. The f-stops are clickless, so you can use it in video. Now, if you did use it in video, you'd have to kind of treat it just like any other kind of prime lens. You'd really have to mark it off, and you'd have to have a follow focus, or at least, you know, be Johnny on the spot with your hand focus. Now, I don't use the follow focus. I'm very tactile. I want to be right on there, and this lens, even though it's small, it's just big enough that, yeah, you can get in there and get it, especially if you have gaffed down your f-stop, and you can really get in there and adjust that focus. It's very smooth, it's reliable, it's kind of repeatable. So if you're used to using manual glass, I think you'll be just fine on this. The small form factor is fantastic if you want to kind of walk around. I've just used it on the GH5, so your mileage might vary, but it clicks in very snugly. Now you have to be careful. If you don't, you can actually, I don't know if you can see that, the little red dot there. If you can connect it kind of the opposite way of the red dot, and if you're not careful, it'll fit in, it'll turn over, but it won't click, and the camera won't recognize it, and it's just dangerous. So be sure that you do click it on the red dot. It clicks in real smooth, comes off very easily. I know sometimes in these cheaper third-party lenses you have to worry about that, or if you're using an adapter like for the Helios. I do have the Helios, and this is smaller than that. So if you're looking to really get small and get kind of a similar result, this is something you should look at. Sharpness, it's pretty sharp. It's sharp enough. I think sharpness is probably one of the things that is overdone in terms of reviews. Yes, everybody wants sharp glass, but at the same time, you know, it's not necessarily the best for narrative shooting, because then, you know, you see every little thing. But that said, it's pretty darn sharp. I don't know if it's exactly a 1.8, but it seems to be a pretty quick lens. It's definitely a faster lens than the 2.8, I can tell you that. Whether or not it's actually a 1.8, again, your mileage might vary, but for 69 bucks, again, it is an amazing little deal. Who is the lens for? cheapskates like me. I don't want to spend any more money than I have to. It's for someone who wants to experiment with manual glass. Obviously, a lot of the Micro Four Thirds lenses are autofocus. Even the Olympus glass, which you know with the toggle switch on some of them will let you go to manual focus. It's still manual focus by wire. This is old school mechanical focus. Who else is this lens for? I'd say it's for somebody who wants to shoot photographs with the GH4 or GH5. It's very nice. I think some of the pictures I took of my kids with this lens came out amazingly well, and I didn't have to work terribly hard to get them. It's a very unique look, just like the Helios, or at least similar to the Helios, and it's very neat. If you want to shoot it on video, you absolutely can. You're going to have all the same difficulties you would using any kind of prime manual glass. It is a little small, so you have to be, I mean, if you're someone who loves follow focus, this is probably not a lens for you. The other, cool thing about this, hey, if you drop it, if it's stolen, that's 70 bucks. It lets you get into that focal length cheap. I certainly wouldn't want to spend the money on an Olympus or Panasonic lens for this particular focal length. So it's kind of one of those things where, yeah, I'd spend the money on a 16. Yes, I'd spend the money on a, like the 42.5. But a 25 millimeter, 24 millimeter, I just wouldn't want to spend a lot of money. And this is a great way to get you a small, fast, light, accurate, smooth focusing lens. So I give it 5 out of 5 stars for the money. And heck, even if it was double the money, it's still a pretty good lens. Okay, so if you like this review, if you have any questions, anything like that, go ahead and comment in the section below. Like, subscribe, and until next time, mwah!
Be sure to visit evilgeniusentertainment.com for exclusive content, swag, casting call news, and much, much more.